anchor here at Great Harbour Cay and head over to Hoffman's Cay. It's about a 12 nautical mile journey. It should only take us a little over 2 hours. Yesterday we were here and we just kind of laid low. We had a big blow come through. We got gusts up to 40 knots and they were consistently at 30 knots throughout the day. So we were rocking and rolling a bit. So we just watched movies, played games. Hoffman's Cay is known for this blue hole. So we're gonna go check that out when we get there. Should be cool, and we are ready to go sailing.
There's where we're going to actually anchor, but we're going to go south of that island right there and pull in right over there. So we are pretty much there. I'm going to drop sails here in just a second and we'll motor on in. So here we are. We're going to come down in this little pass right here. Come up here and anchor somewhere in here. But this is that pass that I was just showing you. It's just a little bit too shallow to come through. We have to be careful coming into here because there's jagged rocks all over the entrance, so we have to make sure to avoid them and make sure to stay in the middle of the channel so we don't run aground. Okay, we just dropped anchor. I like this spot. We are tucked in just to the left of some cliffs. We got a beach right here in front of us, and around that corner over there is the blue hole. So kind of a cool little spot. The only kind of scary part is we only have about a foot under our keel right now, so it's pretty shallow. I circled the area real slow just to kind of get a good feel, make sure we weren't going to run aground. We are at low tide right now, so this should be the worst we've got. So I've got a 5-to-1 scope on the chain, so it's about 70 feet out right now. And I feel good. We backed down the anchor, didn't budge one bit. I'm gonna dive in, just check it, just to make sure. The second biggest thing, I should say, is the tide. So it's not quite slack tide right now. We've got just a little bit to go until we get to that point. And right behind us, we've got a pretty good current going through the two islands to our left. So I think I'm tucked in just enough to stay out of the bulk of that current, but we'll keep an eye on it just in case. But other than that, really cool spot. I saw some cliffs coming in that I think Lincoln and I are going to dinghy over and go check out. There's some caves in there that it looked like from the binoculars, so we'll go see if that's anything worth exploring. And then I think tomorrow we're going to go check out the blue hole. It is cloudy and a little bit chilly today, so I think, you know, getting wet's not gonna be the best thing. I'm gonna get in the water just to check the anchor, but beyond that, I think we'll hold off until tomorrow to get in the water. But other than that, pretty cool little spot. Let's go exploring. Lincoln! All right, Lincoln and I are gonna go check out the blue hole, go do a little reconnaissance. Katie and Katie staying back on the boat because Grayson is napping. So here we go. You ready, Lincoln? All right, let's go. All right, we beached the dinghy and we're gonna go check out the blue hole. You found a shell? That's a big one too. Does it have a hole on the other side of it? Turn it over. Yeah, so when it's got a hole like this, that means somebody busted it out to get the conch out of it.
What's a conch?
Huh?
What's a conch?
Conch is the animal that lives in there. It's like a big giant snail. Some people like to eat them. That's gross. But when you see this opening here, someone's taken it and busted it open so that they could get the conch out. That's where the muscle attaches. So you bust that open and you cut it out, and that way you can pull it out. And we are walking through a trail. I'm hoping we're in the right spot. There were no signs marking it, but clearly people have been walking through here. So I'm thinking we're in the right spot, but we'll see.
Kind of like camping, right?
Kind of like camping, yep.
Because I don't want to just like swinging at us and hit them. Let's pay that. because I got scraped on my leg. I got hit by a tree. So that's what. Oh, yep, he's definitely still bringing it in.
All right, we came across another one of these little circular things right here. I don't know what they're for. Does anybody out there know what these do? Why people are hanging them from the trees? It's almost, I don't know what it's made out of. It's very light material. All right, let's keep exploring. Oh, we got a fork in the road. I don't know which way to go. Let's try left.
I'm like tapping. So,
Oh, it's like a ruin right there. I don't know if that's like a chimney, but there's a building right here.
I'm just sticking my hand. Anybody come to fix it.
I don't know what that thing is though. What is that?
Right? Oh.
I don't know what that is. It's soft. Oh. There's bugs in there. I don't know if it's some kind of termite nest or something. I don't know what that is. That is the oddest looking thing in the world. There's little bugs in there. I don't think you've seen any blue holes yet.
No.
No blue holes.
I just see some outside moving.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take the blue hole out now.
Yeah, this is where we're trying to find it right now. Trying to find the blue hole on Hoffman's Cay.
I thought we were.
Oh, Lincoln.
What?
Uh-oh. We found it. Here we go.
What is it?
The blue hole.
Whoa.
Look at that. Don't get too close to the edge now. Alright, we found this path around the corner. I think this is how you get back out once you jump in. Oh yeah, here we go, Lincoln. Look at this.
I think this is a cave. We're gonna walk to some blue hole. Oh, I think you have to climb up a really hard thing that you climb up on.
Well, don't climb up any higher, but those are some really sharp rocks. This limestone is really got sharp edges to it. See how sharp those edges are?
Show us if you got hurt really bad.
Alright, so Lincoln and I went exploring a couple of the little small islands around where we're anchored. And we found this little place. It's like a, yeah, somebody's made this little mini resort for them.
Oh, there's even shells. Daddy, there is coconuts.
I see a little cave over here.
He's gonna climb up something.
Uh-huh. A little place to have a fire. Alright, so we're running a little low on water, so I'm going to run the water maker, and I thought I would show those who are interested how it actually works and how we turn salt water into fresh water. So let's go check it out and I'll show you. Alright, so down in this forward locker is where the water maker is kept, and I'll take you down there with me so you can see how everything is done. Basically, this is the freshwater maker. It takes the raw seawater and converts it to fresh drinking water for us to use on the boat. And what happens is up here is the water intake, and it pulls the raw seawater from outside and pumps it down into what's called a boost pump. And that pump is what gives it the pressure to get to the high pressure pump. So the boost pump runs it through these two-stage filters. You've got a 20 micron and a 5 micron filter here that just removes the particles from the water. From there, it goes over to our high pressure pump. And that's what gives the water the pressure to go through the membranes, the RO membranes, to remove the salt. So the high pressure pump runs it up through here, and it runs it through our two RO membranes. And that's what, through reverse osmosis, removes the salt and gives us the fresh water. So up here, it runs out of the two RO membranes. That is the fresh water. It's this blue line right here. So the thick blue is the raw seawater going through, and then comes back out and gets discharged out of the boat. What doesn't have the salt removed from it. And this little tiny blue line there, that's the fresh water comes out. It comes through here, and then it gets pumped into these little tubes right here. Now, because the freshwater maker was installed after the boat was made, it's kind of a DIY project from a previous owner. So I have to take this tube and run it over to the water tanks where we fill up if we're at a marina. Take the cap off those, stick this down in there, and the fresh water gets filled. That's how we fill the tanks that way. And that's pretty much in a nutshell. So it's not a very complicated system. It took me a few hours just to kind of get a feel for it, read the manual, and really understand how it works and what to do. There's a lot of things you need to know of what not to do so that you don't destroy either the pumps or the RO membranes. But outside of that, it's a pretty easy setup. Not really much to it. The only things that we have to worry about is just usage, because you're taking raw seawater and running it through there. There's microorganisms in the water that over time, over a few days, they die basically, and you got bacteria that can grow in them. So we have to run them at least every 3 to 5 days. And with our water usage, with 4 people on the boat, I find that I typically will run them at least every 2 to 3 days and top off our tanks. If we go more than 5 days, you run the risk of getting bacteria in the system, and that's when I need to do what's called I need to pickle it. And that's just taking this chemical. It is, I can remember the name of it, sodium metabisulfite. And I run that through some fresh water that's been made, and it just runs it through the system and makes sure that no bacteria can grow. I've only had to do that twice. When we left Charleston, we put it at the marina there. We left it for almost a month, so I had to pickle it there. And then there was another time where we went about a week and a half without using it, so I pickled it then as well. But other than that, pretty straightforward system, and that is how we get our fresh water on the boat.
Cooking some popcorn.
Board my boat, sail across the sea, and put it back.
Watching Maui on the projector.
It almost sounded like you don't like me, which is impossible.